These women are representing ridings across the country. They're marching to the House of Commons to fill the 338 seats some of them hope to one day be elected to. It's been 100 years since a small minority of Canadian women got the right to vote in federal elections. It took decades longer for that right to be extended to all Canadian women. And organizers of today's event say there's still a lot of work to do because the political world remains dominated by men. Only 26% of Canada's MPs are women.
Mr. Lightper.
We really wanted to ensure that the kind of diversity that we haven't seen in Canada's Parliament up to now would be reflected in this group of 338, so that they understand the power of their voice.
Can these women change that? That is the hope. Each of them answered a call out to come to Ottawa to represent their community, and they each have a story to tell.
My story has many chapters. I know there's pain in your heart. It has a chapter starting off when I was a little girl, growing up in a place where there was a lot of poverty, there was a lot of mental health, there was a lot of people struggling with addictions, and that place created a story for me to begin, a story for me wanting to advocate.
That beginning still plays a role in Rayanne Lebrun's life. As a youth worker, formerly homeless herself, she recently began exploring her Indigenous culture. She learned about traditional smudgings like this and started to see how her experience can help others.
Once I started noticing that other people felt that way, I started wanting to say, let me help you. Let's hold our hands together and we can get through this together. You don't have to be by yourself.
With a sense of trepidation, she applied to be part of this week's commemorative event called Daughters of the Vote.
I didn't think I was going to get in at all. I didn't think I was smart enough. I didn't think that I had the credentials. I didn't think that someone coming from my background would be able to get into politics.
But she came here anyway, seeking to meet other women helping their communities.
When we go back to our communities, we can say this is what happened. These are the amazing women that are going to be going forward in our future.
I always went and looked at the study projects.
In a classroom like this, Nevada Belendra became interested in science when she was in high school.
I like chem, bio, physics.
Now she studies physiology and runs a nonprofit she created to encourage other young women to study science, technology, engineering, and math.
It was a big leap for me to try this. No, and I understand that. Working with these students who are so passionate about science and furthering themselves in the field, seeking out opportunities and just enriching themselves is really what we need more of.
In science and in politics too, and that's partly what brought her to Ottawa today. But there's more to her story, an experience that changed her outlook on everything.
I was diagnosed with cancer last year in October. 2015. So I was diagnosed with stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma.
She was 20. It was a huge shock, but it didn't curb her ambition.
After the months of chemotherapy and being currently in remission, it just gives you that much, gave me more of a drive to go forth with my aspirations, knowing that the time is limited. The journey is never easy for anyone. We always want to bring forth change, for example, but sometimes we don't know how to make that happen on the governmental level.
Antu Hossain's political engagement has already begun. She recently met with her Toronto area MP to talk about some of the issues important to her: refugee rights, precarious work, access to health care, and income inequality.
So many racialized workers.
There are so many people who don't get a chance to
try to get into politics. So I'm excited that this is an opportunity to learn more about how to engage in that process, how to hopefully maybe one day get elected.
Hussein's story didn't begin in Canada, but it's rooted here now.
Which is really cool.
Her family immigrated to the U.S. from Bangladesh when she was 1. They sought asylum in Canada after 9/11 because they feared the social backlash they felt against Muslims.
It just got very tense for a family that identified as Muslim. People were actually getting deported left, right, and center. People that we knew, people of people that we knew, and you could hear about a lot of the Islamophobic comments that were being thrown.
Today, Hussein studies public health at the University of Toronto. And she's part of the movement to bring Ontario's minimum wage up to $15. She also wants governments to do more to help create better, more stable jobs, particularly for immigrants and refugees.
When I realized that the struggle is still alive with my generation, it's definitely something I think we need to put our voice to. So, yeah.
This morning, the women entered the chamber of the House of Commons, each taking the seat of their MP.
This House looks so good with 338 women in these seats.
Some had the chance to make statements.
Today on International Women's Day, we may all be daughters of the vote, but tomorrow we must remember that only a quarter of this chamber will be.
My heritage is not a political platform to campaign on unless cherished. Unless cherished as complex and as rich as its people. This is my Canada, and there is no seat for hate here.
And ask questions.
You made a promise of electoral reform, and we know that your government has given the reasons of how a referendum can be divisive, how there are multiple challenges, but those challenges, if they were met, would be better and ensure that more women would make it here.
Due to funding cuts, organizations and programs are shutting down, while many other communities have none at all. We need to do something about it. We need to support our communities and support our young people and our families so that they know that they're supported, but they also know that they have a voice and that they're here with us together as a family.
They may be new to the political stage, but they've already developed some political chops that could serve them well in this arena in the future. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Ottawa.